Welcome to Chronicles of My Inner Worlds. Today, we're going to dive deep into a really profound and transformative spiritual journey. This comes from the 55th session of the 2024 season, where a man named Christophe is guided by Isabel into this incredible inner space. And you'll want to stick around to the end because we're going to close out this explainer with an original piece of music that was born directly from the energy of this very session.
So let's start with a question that I think we've all faced. How do you stay present for someone you love when they're going through something really tough, without getting completely swamped by their emotions? You want to be there, you want to help, but you end up just absorbing all that pain or anger, and suddenly you're both drowning. It's a huge challenge, and the journey we're about to explore offers a pretty radical new way of looking at it.
And this brings us right to Christophe, the central figure in our story today. He found himself in this exact situation and had this powerful realization. He just knew there had to be another way, a different approach, a path that didn't just lead to feeling drained and exhausted when trying to connect with his family. So this was his starting point. You might know this feeling, that sense that happiness is right there. You can almost touch it, but there's this invisible wall, some kind of emotional static, especially in his communication, that was keeping him and his loved ones from really reaching it. And it was that very frustration that kicked off this whole search for a new way of being. And that search, well, it led him to an absolutely massive breakthrough, a totally new way of handling emotional energy that he came to call the lightning rod posture. And this right here is where things start to get really fascinating.
Now, what's really crucial to understand is that this isn't some abstract intellectual theory. As Christophe put it, it's more at the level of the gut, the belly. This is something you feel deep inside you. It's a physical, intuitive posture. It's not something you think your way into. It's something you embody from your very core.
So what is it exactly? Well, let's define it. The conduit posture is an active state of being open-hearted. You make a conscious choice to receive the emotional energy coming at you, the anger, the pain, whatever it is. But, and this is the key difference, you don't absorb it. You don't take it on. Instead, you become a pathway for that energy to flow through you and ground safely into the earth.
Okay, so how does this actually work in the moment? It really breaks down into 4 clear steps. First, you start with this inner gesture of opening yourself up. Second, you just welcome whatever emotion is coming your way, completely without judgment. Third, you embody that paratonnerre idea. You become the lightning rod perfectly designed to handle a massive electrical charge. And finally, you just release it. You let that energy flow straight through you, right into the ground beneath your feet.
And this is the absolute game changer. The energy is not taken on personally. You have to get this. You are not the destination for that pain. You're not a sponge. You are simply the path, the conduit, the channel. The energy moves through you, but it doesn't stick to you. This is the secret right here. This is what allows you to be fully present for someone without being destroyed by their emotional storm. And what starts as a technique, this posture, begins to deepen into something much more. It becomes this powerful, transformative connection with the earth itself.
I mean, just look at the difference here. It's night and day, right? The old way, the default for so many of us, is absorbing pain, feeling defensive, getting totally overwhelmed, and it just creates more separation. But this new way, the conduit posture, you're channeling pain, feeling open, staying neutral, and the result is unity.
And that feeling of unity is just so beautifully captured in this quote from Christophe. He says, "To entrust both of us, who are now one, to the earth." Think about that. In that moment of channeling, the whole idea of me and you just dissolves. The two people become a single energetic unit, and together, you entrust that emotion to the massive grounding force of the planet. But here's the thing. This incredible discovery didn't just stay as a tool for crisis moments. It started to evolve into something he could weave into the fabric of his everyday life. Christophe started to realize he didn't have to wait for a problem to use this. He began to practice it with his wife, with his other grandkids, even in moments that seemed totally fine on the surface. And why would he do that? Well, because it's a practice of staying open. It's a way to release any little bits of excess energy before they can build into something bigger. And ultimately, he saw it as a way to actively cultivate and grow love in all his relationships. And this is such a key shift. The practice moves beyond being just an action, something you do, and it becomes an état de cœur, a state of the heart. It's about embodying a whole new posture toward the world, one that's fundamentally rooted in openness and connection. So where does the power for this come from? It comes from this insight right here. He says it's about, quote, opening myself to what is greater than me, also beneath my feet.
There's this incredible humility to it. It's recognizing that we're standing on this vast, living planet that is more than capable of holding and transforming all this chaotic energy if we just learn how to connect with it.
So this daily practice, this constant connecting to the earth, it all culminates in the final, most profound transformation of all, a complete and total shift in his entire perspective on reality.
So as he practices this grounding over and over, something incredible starts to happen. He describes an experience where his individual separate sense of self, his consciousness, actually begins to merge with the earth. The feeling of being this small person starts to dissolve and is replaced by something vast.
And just listen to this poetic, beautiful way he describes this state. He says, "It's as if I found myself from the earth and I feel the seasons pass over my terrestrial crust." Wow. He no longer feels like a person standing on the earth. He feels like he is the earth, experiencing the timeless cycles of life passing over him like weather.
And when you're looking from that vast perspective, everything changes. Those difficult emotions, they're no longer these huge personal crises. They're just like seasons. They come and go. Your sense of self is no longer fragile and small. It becomes vast, stable, resilient. The need to attack or defend just melts away, because everything is brought to what he calls the plan of unity.
So if there's one final teaching to take away from this whole journey, it's this. It's a complete redefinition of what it means to be neutral. You know, we usually think of neutrality as being detached, cold, uncaring. But what he discovered is that true neutrality is the polar opposite. It's a state of deep, profound, loving connection. It's that calm, stable center you can hold for someone else precisely because you realize that on the deepest level you are already one.
And all of this leaves us with a pretty powerful question to reflect on. In our own lives, with our own relationships, what could change? What could shift if, in our most difficult moments, we chose not to absorb the storm, but instead to become that calm, loving, and grounded pathway for it to return home to the earth? And now, let's move on to the musical composition, inspired directly by this very session. If you enjoy this episode, please click the thumbs up button, leave a comment to share how it resonated with you, and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any future journeys into Chronicles of My Inner Worlds. And if anything you heard today touched you, please share this episode with someone. You never know when a different perspective can make all the difference. I'll see you on our next inner journey very soon.
spring that follows birth. The seasons move through me. I am not small. We are one field, one heart, one call. Build up. This isn't just for crisis days.